Aston Villa 1, Liverpool 3, and my god, am I glad the Premier League is back. Going into the game, bit worried for Liverpool having just lost to Man City in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, I know it's Man City, anyone can lose to them even on their best day. However, it was extremely worrying how easily City carved Liverpool up, and they definitely didn't have the control that Jurgen Klopp was looking for. Before the game, Pep Linders was talking about the fact that they've been working on the ball, off the ball, where to be positional play, and it didn't look like that was the case at all. Coming up against Aston Villa, who had just had 5 pre-season friendlies, I don't know what you want to call it, mid-season friendlies, trying to get ready for the new season again. Most of the players being available, obviously missing Emi Martinez, who won the World Cup, and obviously Olsen coming in, which shouldn't have made too much of a difference really. And going into the first game back after the World Cup and at Villa Park, you might have been a bit worried for Liverpool. However, they had their own stars coming back, and the likes of Alisson, Van Dijk, Henderson, who all didn't play against Man City, and it looked like a lot better performance from the one against Man City in the Carabao Cup. He had some early chances, Robertson with a cross from the left coming to Darwin Núñez, who just completely left the ball as if, and maybe hoping Salah was going to be there, but he was nowhere near, and the ball got put out of play for a corner, and from that resulting corner, the ball gets cleared, and then the Villa back line is a bit late in getting out, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold with the outside of his boot with an absolute worldie just chips it back into the box, behind the back line into Robertson, who I think actually scuffs it actually. I mean, he definitely intended it, but I don't think he got clean contact. And he scuffs it into the path of Mo Salah, who scores in the back and then keeps it 1-0. And really, it was one of those games where on another day, Villa should have taken the chances, and they had 3 great chances just before 16 minutes. The long ball to Watkins, and he was holding it up against Matip, and they were getting down Liverpool's right hand channel, which always seems to be a target, especially since you've got Van Dijk and Robertson on the left. Matip and Trent are seen as the weaker ones on the right, and the ball gets played into Watkins. He holds it up a couple of times, gets Buendia into play, and if Bailey could shoot, he might be a half decent footballer as well. And unfortunately for them, they just didn't get into the game, and unfortunately for them, they just weren't able to convert their chances, which I think there's a difference between the two sides, considering it's very end to end. And as that man again, Trent Alexander-Arnold, with those balls from deep, and he was just curling them to the front line, and it was weird. It was almost as if Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was tucking in from the left hand side, playing as like a pseudo second striker, number 10, but it was definitely allowing Andy Robertson to go all the way down the left, and we actually saw that from Alisson kicking the ball long directly to Robertson, running at Ashley Young, which I definitely think was a tactic to target Ashley Young, because of the fact that obviously he's 37, he's getting on a bit, and with Oxlade-Chamberlain coming in, Ashley Young then had to tuck in as well, and then left all that space for Robertson to go and exploit. We even saw Henderson at one point in the first half going on his blind side, making an underlapping run, but failed to get the ball in the end. But you could see the intent was just to go at Ashley Young. And then there was a bit of an iffy moment from Trent, where Villa get into the box, and he kind of tackles the Villa player kind of awkwardly, comes in from behind with his right leg. And does he touch it? Does he not? I'm not quite sure. I think actually the Villa player knocks it into his leg, which he ends up hitting, which makes it look like it's not a pen. And I don't think it's a pen. But again, this is one of those things where I'm not really sure anymore with VAR and the rules. I don't know what's going on really. And I think if the referee gave that, I'm not sure it gets turned over. And it's one of those, and it's extremely annoying for Villa fans to hear, because it's like, you want the pen, you want your team to score, of course you do. It's gotten to the point with officiating where I'm not sure what's a pen, what's not. If a ball hits a player's hand in the box, I don't know. I just think it's being given, and I don't know really. And I think that's something at the end of the season they need to clarify a bit more. Is obviously there was contact, but does it have to be enough contact? What is enough contact? It's always subjective. No one's going to agree with it. I think Villa fans can be upset about it. If it was given, you wouldn't see it overturned. And I think that's the bottom line. And really the whole story of the first half was just both teams attacking. Liverpool with Núñez trying to beat the offside trap. And once he learns to arch his runs, he will be a world-class striker. He is Haaland 3-4 seasons away. And the mad thing is, even though everyone says he misses all these chances, and he does, and he's continually frustrating, he will still probably get 20 goals this season. And that's mental to think from someone who misses all these chances. If you think about Mo Salah and all the best, Harry Kane, they all miss chances. But obviously, because of the price tag, there's more of a spotlight on him. I think he will come good. I think he is coming good. And I think the issue at the moment is Liverpool have to play him. And which is a good thing for Núñez, because he's got to adapt to the league, he's got to learn, he's got to finish, and he's got to take his chances. And ultimately, he's going to have a couple of days where Liverpool are going to lose, and he's going to be his fault for not taking the chances, and he's going to have to learn from it. But I think Villa played pretty well in that first half, actually. I don't think Unai Emery would have said anything too drastically different to the original game plan, really. I was a bit surprised how high up the pitch they were. I thought they might have been 5 or 10 yards a bit deeper, trying to stop Liverpool getting the ball in midfield and nick it off them. I think John McGinn in that first half was amazing. He was amazing the whole game, actually. I think he was Villa's best player on that right. He just kept on finding those spaces in between the defence and the midfield, and a couple of turns as well where he did Henderson once. And he did Henderson once in the middle of the park, and I just thought, honestly, someone needs to stop him. Then going into the second half, obviously Villa came out the stronger team. They had Watkins had a chance early on, but he was offside. And then John McGinn had a headed chance, but unfortunately didn't get enough power on it. And then all of a sudden, Liverpool counter from Aston Villa's corner, and Salah just runs entirely into the pitch. Salah with the ball was faster with them without the ball, which is incredible to say, but he should have scored. He absolutely should have scored. He got the ball caught between his feet, and ultimately that should have been 3-0. That should have been the game ended. However, fair play to Aston Villa, they got back into it with that man Watkins, and to be fair, he was the danger man the whole game. He thoroughly deserved his goal. What a header as well. Douglas Luiz with the cross. And again, John McGinn, what a touch to pick the ball out from the sky from Trent clearance, and then to Douglas Luiz into Watkins, and I thought game on there, and actually Aston Villa thoroughly deserved it. The only difference between the two teams at that point was that Liverpool took the chance and Villa hadn't. And one note for Leon Bailey is he was playing in the front two with Watkins on the right hand side, and he never really seemed comfortable. His end product wasn't quite there. His finishing, he fluffed his lines a couple of times and he just completely missed the ball, and I don't think that's his best position. I can understand why he's playing there, to be on the counter-attack, to be a link man with Watkins. However, it was when in the second half, after Villa scored their first goal, and John McGinn started getting forward and breaking the lines a bit more, where Bailey came out to the right hand side, came out wide with Robertson, and he could go left and right, and he made Robertson think a bit more, and he was backing off a bit, and then he put in some beautiful crosses into the box. Unfortunately, there's only Watkins in there, but it is one of those where I think long term, Bailey may be better off on the right wing. Defensively, obviously, there's a question mark if he can do that. Obviously, John McGinn played there for the most of the first half and the beginning of the second half, and he did amazingly there. So it's one to ponder for Unai Emery. He also thought it was extremely late with the substitutions. I think once they were on top, they really should have made those changes. But it was only until Liverpool scored the third, which he brought them on, and I kind of thought at that point, why are you bothering? There's no point. Danny Ings should have been on a lot sooner to assist Watkins. Coutinho, I mean, I'm not really sure if he's been fancied or not. I thought Buendia and McGinn were playing pretty well, so there's no real need to bring on Coutinho. But for me, just Danny Ings, if Bailey's putting in those crosses, you really want Danny Ings on the end of it. Obviously, maybe he doesn't trust Bailey defensively and he's not going to put him out there. And then you compare that to Liverpool substitutions, and Klopp made 2 in the 65th minute. He brought on Harvey Elliott and Naby Keita, and also they just controlled the game for 5, 6, 7 minutes, and it looked like they had more control. They were just resting a little bit before the game got into a frantic state again, and it was good substitution. It was from Liverpool's perspective, having Oxlade-Chamberlain start the game, having Naby Keita end the game, and seeing players who had just been injury prone for so long come on and actually do something on the pitch, something useful. I thought Ox had a good game. I thought Keita was getting himself about, didn't really have a good half an hour when he came on. Definitely outshone by Stevan Petetic, who came on, had bundles of composure, scored a goal, and I honestly, for a kid so young to have played so little minutes to score a goal, honestly, it was just amazing to see. You could see the whole Liverpool bench excited for him. And it is one of those where Jurgen Klopp continuously gives young players opportunities. You saw Ben Doe coming on later on as well, a 17-year-old, and honestly, it's great to see because you saw Trent Alexander-Arnold come through, Curtis Jones, you've seen Javier Elliott, Fabio Carvalho, and to continually have a top side and keep giving young players a chance. I know Liverpool fans won't necessarily enjoy the transfer strategy of not signing the best players. I know there's a clamour for Bellingham. However, to see young players coming through, surely that's always a positive and always a good thing to see from your club. Now, what next for the two teams? Obviously, Villa go away to Spurs next, and I think that's actually a game they could get something from. I think it could be a very similar tactics and team from the one they played against Liverpool today. I think if he plays having Emi Martinez back is going to be a huge boost. His shot stopping, even though Olsen couldn't do much about the ones today, and his distribution would be a lot better as well. And just having a World Cup winning goalkeeper, which just feels mental to say for Ash. And there's a narrative as well that Martinez used to play for Arsenal. He's surely going to want one over Spurs, who might have Hugo Lloris in goal. But I think Villa could take a lot of encouragement today. It could essentially be a dry run for the game against Spurs, and they can defend a bit deeper as well, especially since they're away from home. And Liverpool have Leicester at home next, and obviously Leicester just got smashed 3-0 by Newcastle, pretty comprehensively, and they're not the same team they used to be. I definitely think this is one where Liverpool should be winning. I don't think they should rotate the side too much. I mean, Monday, Friday doesn't seem too bad. They should all be playing. I think it's a case of just put the same team out and go again. And I think with the Anfield crowd being behind their back, happy to see the team play again for the first time in a few weeks. I definitely think it's one Liverpool should win. So there we are. There's my match reaction to Aston Villa versus Liverpool. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, give it a like. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I'll see you in the next one.